Now we're live. Hello, everybody. We're live for the podcast recording of episode number 45. I got Bob here again.
Hello, again. Actually, it's been a while.
It has been a while. It's been like a month or two. Yeah. So we're getting ready to record episode 45 of the podcast. We're getting close to 50. I don't know exactly what we're going to do for 50. I've had a couple ideas. We've actually talked with Bob a couple times about it. Talked with, I like the idea of maybe getting everybody on the show, you know, and doing like everybody come on. But I just feel like that'd be a lot of people. I don't know.
Oh, it'll be a blast. We'll have arguments all night long.
Alex says Fountain Talk. He just commented in the live stream, Fountain Talk, my favorite podcast.
Hells yeah, man.
Yeah, we could get Alex, Timmy, Daniel, everybody together and just do Fountain Talk. Fountain Talk is the bomb. Oh my gosh, you guys are crazy.
You dropped the bomb on me, baby.
Who sings it?
I don't know, there's people. Oh, wait, I should know this.
You should
What?
know this.
I can't think. I'm horrible at names.
The Gap Band.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Hey guys, FYI, me and Bob are like pop culture kind of. We're gonna not really pop culture freak. I am a pop culture freak. I don't know if would you consider yourself a pop culture freak or no?
Yeah.
In different ways than me, I guess. I'm music, sports, and movies kind of, and TV shows. I guess that's kind of pop culture in general, right there. So I just listed everything in pop culture. Okay, let's.
I am in it's generational. Like, we may not target the same pop culture, but I think we're both kind of, I don't know.
You seem to be like, I don't know. That doesn't matter. That's not. Okay, the podcast. That's what
rabbit trails are dangerous, man.
Oh, okay. Let's start the pod. No, Loch Ness Monster. So yeah, that's much better than frickin' Anaconda and the Flyers.
Yeah.
Let's start.
Well,
for some reason, whenever we go to Kings Dominion, it's a joke between me and him that he always wants to do Anaconda and the Flyers all day, and I'm like, we're not doing that. And so he's saying now we can do Loch Ness and Finnegan's Flyer, and I'm like, that's better than Anaconda and that.
yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit. For some reason, they love the Flyers at Kings Dominion. I don't think they're that much. I don't think they're that great. I mean, they're Flyers. There's nothing really special to them. But Timmy and Daniel just love the hell out of those things.
Timmy! Sorry, that just popped into my head.
Timmy. Okay, let's get ready.
It is I-305. I agree with you, Alex.
No, it's Anaconda. It's not I-305.
Wait, what? Oh.
He's saying what?
Oh, wait. Oh, never mind.
He's saying that's the joke between us, but it's not. It's Anaconda.
It was a conversation.
Well, I guess it's kind of both.
Somebody else I was talking to was calling Intimidator 305 Timmy. And I was like, no, it's I-305. And like, I just kind of crossed that. When I looked up and saw it's 305, I was like, wait, no. But it's the wrong person. Disregard my comment. I was mistaken. I know nothing of what you speak of, Alex.
It's kind of both I-305 and Anaconda. Okay, start the podcast. Okay. Stop. I literally just pressed the start. I pressed the start button, and you started laughing. Oh my god. Are you ready?
Are you actually gonna start it this time?
If you would let me. I swear. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coaster Talk, your source for everything roller coasters. My name is James Barber, and we're back with the co-host Bob, and we have not. Okay, I didn't like that at all. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I don't like starting out the podcast just going right into the intro. I like talking first. That's how you're supposed to do it, or not supposed to, but that's how I like it because it draws you in. You know.
If you say so.
I do say so.
All right then.
I do say so myself. Okay.
You're allowed to say so.
It's literally 9 o'clock at night. We started like 3 hours ago and still haven't.
No, we've been talking forever, and I've been under this vague threat that you were going to start a podcast or something.
God, hey, don't even act like it wasn't your fault too.
I'm not. I just...
Oh my God. Okay. This past month has been the actual theme park season. It started for me and it started for Bob as well. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back. Finally.
Exactly. It's been a while.
It's been too long.
It's been too long. Yeah. And this past month, I went to Busch Gardens twice and went to Kings Dominion twice. And we both have really, we've gotten our theme park season right off to the start. And that's how I like it.
Yep. I've actually been there. I've been to Busch. I don't know. I've been to a couple parks a couple times.
You've been up to Kennywood as well and got to see some of the construction behind the scenes.
I did. Yeah, it was an off-season event, but yeah, it's still off-season up north.
Yeah, I know. It's like they're watching vigorously as we watch. We used to watch the Orlando people, and we're getting jealous of them, and now they're having to wait their turn and watch us. So it's fair.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, as long as we get to ride, I don't care about anybody else.
That's right.
Okay,
we got Funland too, man.
Yeah, we do. We got Funland. We got our off-season blues being held to a puncture right there with Funland. We got Twist and Shout, and we got that awesome hell of a drop tower there. That thing gave some mad.
Do you realize how many people go to Funland and they look at that and say that's a kiddie ride, and they don't get to experience it?
They don't get to experience it. And thank God your niece got me on that. I would not. I probably wasn't going to be planning on riding that either.
I know. You're exactly right. I probably would never rode it either. But thank you, Piper.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Definitely got me on a drop tower. That gave me more airtime and gave me more thrill than Twist and Shout did.
It did. Yeah, actually, it really did.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about Funland of Fredericksburg, guys, in Fredericksburg, Virginia. It's a great little small theme park owned and operated by, well, not owned, but operated by Clint Novak of Ian the Loop podcast. Really cool guy. And so, yeah, we just went over there a couple months ago. It's been 3 months now. Jeez. Wow. 3 months ago, and we went to an event there, an ACE event, and it was a lot of fun. So, yes, that's what we're talking about. Welcome to Coaster Talk, your source for everything along with coasters. That was a long intro, almost 2 minutes long there. I was not planning on that, but we kind of just sped up there and talked about some cool stuff. So we're going to go into the first segment that starts off every show, and that's what we call Attraction News. Blah, that was terrible. That little ending there was terrible, but whatever.
You need to start getting. You need Mickey. You need a Mickey Mouse voice emulator.
What?
I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to have Mickey Mouse read this next part.
That would also be copyrighted, probably.
No, it's a voice.
I guess I could just be like, ahoy!
What? Mickey Mouse? No, that was.
Ahoy! I can't even.
That was Millie Mouse.
I'm doing his voice. I don't know how to do his voice. Let me listen. Nah, I gotta go listen to Mickey Mouse real quick. This is just the charm of watching the live looking. You get all this bonus content. So you guys consider yourselves lucky.
It's true.
Let me see. Here's Mickey Mouse. Hey, everybody. Everyone on the live looking, you can probably hear it pretty good. Bob, you can't hear it because I have it going through my headphones, so. Too bad. I'm gonna listen to that.
MICKEY
Not that shitty remake of it. The actual old ones.
But you're 3 hours early.
Ha! Ha! God, I can't even do it. It's like, ha! Oh boy! I can't do it. I can't. Well, screw it. I'm not doing that.
Britney Spears was a Mouseketeer.
Britney Spears. You and Britney Spears.
I don't know why.
You and Britney
We were
Spears.
talking about her earlier. That's why I had to bring that up.
Okay, let's start back. Oh my God, I still have yours going.
What?
All of that audio, I just recorded all of it.
Why? I don't know. It'd be like kind of cool to have Mickey.
I accidentally did it, Bob. Why would you think I would do that on purpose?
It really did. I don't know. I don't know anything about tonight. You need Mickey. You need to like a
Mickeymouse.
Mickey Mouse. Donald Duck. Mickey Mouse.
You like hot dog, dan 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 dan, hot dog, hot dog. You know that song, right?
I'm having trouble drawing a parallel from your version.
God.
We are never going to finish this podcast.
We're not. No, it's gonna be 2 a.m. and we're still gonna be recording. If I can find a way to get this.
We're gonna blame it all on Alex too. It's all his fault.
Yeah, only Alex. I don't even know if he's still watching, but
He probably gave up.
yeah, he's probably like, these guys suck. I'm playing it on my earphones, but you can't hear it, so whatever. I'm gonna listen to it then. Hot dog, hot dog, hot dog.
Oh yeah, I have heard that.
That's from the new Mickey Mouse, though. I'm not a. It's actually a pretty good song. Yeah, Alex is definitely not listening anymore. He would have commented like, "No, I'm still here."
He left so that we couldn't blame it on him.
Yeah, he knew it was coming. So long from now, from Mickey Mouse. Oh, wrong part. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. From Mickey Mouse and the Mickey Mouse Club House. That's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. It's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Come inside, it's fun inside. What am I doing with my life, Bob? Oh my God, have you ever seen that movie? What About Bob?
I have.
Okay, there we go. At least you've seen a good movie. There we go. Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray. When I said that just made me think about that movie.
Pam's watching us. But she's not commenting on there, so she must be stalking us.
She's a maniac.
Maniac.
On the... Okay, we're just singing stupid songs. We're just singing stupid songs now. Oh my God. Okay, let's get ready.
Stupid song talk.
We might as well do that. I think we'd be better at that than a theme park podcast. So Disney parks have announced, all the Disney parks in North America have announced that on May 1st, they're going to be implementing these new rules into their American parks, like I said. These rules include a complete ban on smoking and vaping inside of all Disney parks. The only place left from that point to smoke will be outside of the park in the entrance area. The parks will also begin restricting on stroller sizes allowed into these parks with a complete ban on huge stroller wagons and limiting the maximum size of regulated strollers to be no more than 31 inches wide and no more than 52 inches long. Loose ice and dry ice will also no longer be allowed in the parks, but sealed reusable ice packs are fine. If you do need ice in the park, it can be obtained free at any of the various quick service food locations inside the park, along with complimentary cups of ice water. Which I don't know why they had to add that in there, but they did add that in there. You get complimentary cups of ice water. I feel like you kind of should be forced to do that. You have to give some free water at least.
Well, they don't want to sound like other parks in recent history that are being accused of money grabs.
Yeah. Well,
now if they rent strollers that are 33 inches wide inside the park, then they're money grabbing.
Yeah, they are.
But hey.
Maybe next time one of us goes to Disney Park, we got to measure the stroller. Make sure they're
Yeah, and does everybody at the entrance like have like tape measures?
exactly. How do they know?
Are they actually gonna measure everybody?
I don't know.
The smoking thing, though, I have so many mixed feelings about this because
I think what they're trying to do is good. I think they're trying to keep the park safe and out of harm's way for young children and all that. But they're really creating another issue entirely now with people going to be doing it inside the park, trying to get away with it. People already do that now. People already do that now, and now it's going to be them trying to do it now. It's going to be completely there is going to be no smoking area that you can go to. It's going to be you got to get out of the park. And I feel like that's a little unfair.
In the long run, what they're going to end up doing is creating more smoking areas that are supposed to be smoke free.
Yeah,
and it's going to be
people in lines and the restrooms and all this. Yeah, in the restaurants trying to hide away and get in the restrooms and doing it. Yeah, it's not going to be. I think they're creating another problem out of itself. But in a way, I think I understand what they're trying to do, and I think what they're trying to do is right. But I don't know if.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and there's a lot of people. I'm one of them. Like I mean, some days are worse than others, but there are times where cigarette smoke can really wreak havoc on me, big time.
Yeah, I can. And for me, I can't stand the smell. It irritates the hell out of me. It really does. So I understand completely. I like it. I like the idea. I feel like maybe you progress to one or two areas in the park. Maybe somehow they can solely, because like King's Dominion, it's just kind of like you all of a sudden wander into one. Like they're really weirdly, they're weirdly placed. I feel like you could make like maybe a place that's so like confined. It's a confined space.
That's the thing I think
where no one else in the park can really get there unless they're there to smoke or they're there with someone who can smoke. But it's not a place that you just walk right into and all of a sudden there's a bunch of people smoking, because I don't really like that. I feel like you need to have a little area, maybe just a little cul-de-sac there, which is just smoking only, and I think that's a better solution than to just say strictly no smoking, because then, like we said, it would be nice if people would just listen to the rules and stop smoking, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and it's not like cigarettes are going to show up on metal detectors and stuff.
And I am really weirded out by this ice thing. I understand dry ice because that can be a very big safety hazard, but loose ice I feel like is a little strange. I know I have heard that some of the problems were that people were dumping it out on the sidewalks and creating a safety hazard, but it's kind of funny to ban ice.
Well, I think the problem actually comes into play when people are making ice not out of water.
Okay. But again, are they going to be checking everyone's bag to see if they have any ice in there or what?
Well, yeah, that's, I mean,
again,
that's the other issue. But I think the whole issue with ice itself is ice could be a way of smuggling stuff in that you shouldn't have in the park.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's why, like, a sealed ice pack is a completely different story because it's sealed. I mean, yes, technically it could get bad that way too, but I mean, that's a lot of hassle. Ice is just an easy way of, I think that's their motive there, and I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It's just a little strange to ban ice as a substance. It's just a little strange. But yeah, I can understand where they're coming from. But to get on that's great. Disney's doing a lot of stuff, but Dollywood, all of a sudden is right back in the game. I mean, for a while there, people were saying that Dollywood was kind of done expanding, because when they 5 years ago they announced this big 5-year expansion, and Wildwood Grove would actually end that mark of the 5-year expansion plan. But now Dollywood is sending out surveys already, and people are thinking 2021, 2022. They could be receiving a new coaster. They sent out surveys asking fans which roller coasters they would rather have at the park. That included a picture of a B&M Hyper, an immersive indoor roller coaster, or a Mack Rides Extreme Spinning Coaster. So they're already back on the game of getting those into the park, getting another roller coaster into the park. And I guess the first thing I will talk about is maybe what we think is the better fit at the park at this point. And I've been thinking ever since I first went to Dollywood about 2 or 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago now. I always thought a B&M Hypercoaster would be the greatest. It would look so cool. It would look amazing in the terrain. And I think they could have it go up the hills. I mean, it would look so beautiful and so magnificent, and it would look nothing like any other hypercoaster. I do think an indoor coaster is a need for them, but I don't really know, as an enthusiast, if that's the ride that I'd want. I don't. I have a hard time. And the Mack Ride spinning coaster obviously would fit well because it fit well at Silver Dollar City, so I don't really see any problem with that. I think that could definitely fit there if they needed it to.
I want to know if it's an immersive indoor roller coaster, who would be building it? Because if it's Intamin, that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
The Mack Rides spinning coaster, I like the concept, but I'm a little bit worried. The reason why is because I haven't rode Time Traveler, but I've seen it. I've heard about it. The thing that makes it such an amazing coaster seems to be just that it's a terrain coaster. And Dollywood's not going to be able to pull off the same type of ride. So I kind of have this feeling that if Dollywood builds a Mack Rides spinning coaster, it loses by default in a sense.
Yeah, I think it loses to Time Traveler. But I don't think it's going to... I think it would still be a smash hit for the park.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I think from an enthusiast standpoint, I think everybody would... Oh, they did such a better job at Silver Dollar City. Why couldn't they do it here?
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's not that any of those are good options. The one thing about B&M, I do like B&M's rides, but they're starting to get stale in a sense. And the bigger thing that I think with Dollywood is it's like if the theming in B&Ms don't, for the most part, in general, haven't mixed that well. Not saying that they can't make it happen, but if they have a way of pulling off that they can really seriously immersively theme a B&M, I think that would be great. But I don't know. I
want to see a B&M Hyper, like I said, with the terrain of Dollywood. It would be unlike anything we've seen. People call Apollo Street a terrain coaster, and it kind of is. It does definitely interact with the terrain, but it's not as a terrain coaster as in like Lightning Rod. If we see a B&M Hyper going up a mountain like Lightning Rod does, or swooping over a cliff like Lightning Rod does, that is literally like no other coaster does that. Well, B&M Hyper coaster does that. It would be such a unique experience, and I think it would be really... Definitely, I would definitely consider it one of the best B&M Hyper coasters. I can already say if they build it, one of the best B&M Hyper coasters, because I love the good terrain coaster, and I can tell you B&M Hyper coasters are some of my favorite coasters, and I could definitely see it being one of my favorites of all time as well. I love the idea of having a big 200-foot terrain coaster.
I'm certainly not. I'm definitely not saying that I hate B&M Hypers or anything. I don't. I love. There's a lot of B&M Hypers I really love. They're great rides. It's just in the mix. It's and maybe it's just because you just don't often see B&Ms in the environments like Dollywood, and maybe this could change that. Maybe that would be the pleasant surprise. Mm-hmm. But the bigger question is B&M willing to do that? I mean, even from what we know, Cedar Fair had trouble convincing B&M to do something like Fury 325. It was like. I mean, you look at it, and I mean, it's definitely the best B&M Hyper. But at the same time, you look at it and you go, what was so extreme about it from a manufacturer standpoint? It's a lot like they were really pushing limits in a big way, and I just wonder how far B&M can be pushed. I
don't think B&M would be would decline the offer of building this. I think for some reason they had this big thing they didn't want to go over 300. I know that was the case with Leviathan when they first got Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland. They owed Canada's Wonderland a favor, and that's the only reason. I believe it was a couple years back they had promised to build Canada's Wonderland a ride, or they made an agreement. Not promised. It wasn't like a kid on the playground, but it was they agreed to do it. And then I believe they had like a big turnout, or a lot of people wanted them to build a ride that year, so they kind of declined the offer from Canada's Wonderland and were like, "Hey, we already booked up." And so they actually had Leviathan built because of that, and that's what got B&M over 300. And I'm not 100% sure how they got them to do it again, but I know from Leviathan at least that they had to like really push them to do it. So I don't think, but in this case, I don't think really nothing like you saying with Fury. Nothing in this case would be too crazy. I just think it would just be, some good solid airtime hills, and maybe an airtime hill flying over the mountain. That'd be cool. Maybe the lift hill going up a mountain. But I think it'd be really cool and really awesome for them to expand.
Yeah, but my question is what B&M's reservations were on. Did it have to do with the end product of the ride, maintenance, or did it have to do with the hurdles of constructing it? Because certainly when you build a terrain coaster, you're dealing with a whole different dynamic of actually constructing that ride.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not against any of these ideas at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. In my mind, B&M just seems like a weird fit, but that's based on what we've already seen with B&M. So, I mean, that's the question. If B&M can do something really different that fits in that Dollywood environment, I'd love it. I'd be all for that one. But that's my question is, how different can they go? How, I don't know. We'll just wait and see. I mean,
but I honestly think out of these three coasters, I think the Hyper fits the best. I think an immersive indoor coaster they need, but I just can't see something like I keep imagining something like Flight of Fear at Dollywood, and it's just like a big ugly building that just stands up, and it just doesn't feel like Dollywood. I feel like Dollywood should remain an outdoor. I don't think they should have an indoor roller coaster. I like how Mystery Mine's kind of that indoor roller coaster for them. It goes indoor partly and goes outdoor partly. Blazing Fury is kind of an indoor roller coaster. I don't think they need this big building, or even if it's not tall, maybe it's wide, not whatever. It's still I don't really want that for this park. I don't want that. I want a nice outdoor collection. I do, in all honesty. I like outdoor rides. I just think for this park they need to stay outdoors, and that's just my personal opinion.
The thing is though, like you mentioned the Flight of Fear's big building. Like Dollywood's not going to build a building like Flight of Fear's building. If Dollywood does it, it's going to have a different exterior. It's going to, I don't know. It'll fit. It'll fit better.
I know it'll fit like better, but I still think it would just look weird, and I just don't know if I'd ever get comfortable with it. I just personally. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see. I mean, even like for Bolton, that's kind of they got it green, so it's really not really, and it's in a weird area, so you don't really see it that much. But you put something like that in Dollywood, it's just gonna look weird to me. I kind of grew up with Verbolten. I mean, it was only like a year or two. I started going like 2010 or 2009 when I first went to Busch Gardens, and I barely remember it like that. So I'm kind of used to Verbolten at this point. But I think going to Dollywood from this point on, I would just never get used to seeing like a weird, awkward metal building.
But it wouldn't be. Park. It wouldn't be a metal building at Dollywood.
How do you know?
I have more faith in them than you apparently do.
What else could it be? An indoor ride.
I mean, you could put any type of facade on it.
I mean, you could. It would look. I just think it would look. Maybe they theme it really well, and you can't even tell it's indoor. For some reason, I just don't want to. I really want to see a big B&M Hyper cresting over the hills. That's just my mind.
But it depends on who's making it. That's the big
B&M.
Zero. I'd be okay with a zero.
I would not be okay with that. I would not be okay with that. I would want Mac. I would want Mac or Intamin.
Intamin. I would love to see.
Or even Gerstlauer. Gerstlauer would be good.
That's true.
That'd be weird because they already have 3 Gerstlauers. So, but anyway, that is what Dollywood's doing. They're hopefully getting one of these 3 coasters, maybe even more. Maybe what if they decide to do both? That'd be great. But Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, we have a couple things to talk about that because there's a lot.
Yep. We're gonna move on to the other park that's gonna build coasters like crazy because they see the Coaster Kings kind of not wanting to build coasters anymore. It's a great opportunity. I think a lot of parks are taking advantage of.
Yeah, Cedar Fair is declining in their production of roller coasters, it seems, or at least this year they are still on that pattern of building. But I think we're going to start to slowly see them halt it to an all-time low. So Busch Gardens SeaWorld at least is still ready. They're still willing to build a lot of roller coasters, and they're doing it. But first we're talking about Finnegan's Flyer for this year because that has begun testing. at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. And for some reason, why is it that this ride is opening in May? I'm really confused. I feel like they could definitely open this in a week or two. It's already testing. They've already finished with the station. What is left to do?
A week or two is pretty much May.
It's pretty no. May is in like almost a month from now. Like they said like mid-May though. So
mid-May is different. Then.
I'm confused.
But we're in the middle of April, so.
Yeah, I'm confused why that's. I feel like they could open it now, if they really wanted to. I feel like they kind of moved a little slower than that. I feel like they definitely could have already had it up and already testing, and they could have it open by now. It was a little strange. Copperhead Strike. We were just seeing it like a month ago. Copperhead Strike. Before, well, maybe a month and a half ago, it was still just started testing, and now it's already open and it's functioning and it's right. I feel like they could have done it with Finnegan's Flyer as well, so it's a little strange that it took them so long, and now they're just now testing. My gut feeling is telling me that it has something to do with James City. We know that they have different requirements for Busch Gardens than a lot of parks deal with, so. Maybe they just have to jump through a few more hoops for certifications. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We don't know what happens behind the scenes fully, and that's certainly something that could have an impact. Yeah, it could. That makes sense. But still, I feel like it's a little weird that they're just now testing. But I'm excited for it. It looks pretty great. Have you seen the testing?
Yes, I did, and I love overgrown swing sets.
Yeah.
And especially built on a cliff over water.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really neat experience, I think.
And I watched it, and I actually talked with a couple of people about it, and it definitely looks like it's running longer cycles. Have you've been on Scream and Swing like Kennywood's and Cedar Point's? Their Scream and Swing, both of theirs, they reach their peak point like twice, and then they kind of slowly stop again. At least during the testing, maybe this is where the question is. During the testing, this thing hit its peak height at least three or four, or maybe even 5 times. It just kept going and going and going, and that's gonna be great. Especially that might be making up for the fact that this isn't as tall as the others, isn't as fast as the others. But I'm excited to ride it and see. Yeah,
it doesn't take as long for it to get up to that high point, so maybe they'll go different couple cycles and what. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's something that I like. North American parks. I haven't been to Germany. Well, I've actually been to Germany, but not to ride rides. But like if you watch on YouTube, you watch flat rides from Germany, man, you'll ride for like 8 or 9 minutes, and they have music, and the whole thing is themed and synchronized, and it's amazing and spectacular. And in North America, we get to go around a few times and then get off and let the next load on. And I mean, obviously, a big part of that is just because we're the, all you can eat buffets of rides when we go to parks here.
We're the all you can eat buffets of all you can eat buffets too.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But over in Germany, I think sometimes you pay like $8 or $9 to ride a ride. Sometimes I really think it's worth it. I would love, there's rides, and the Scream and Swings are one of them. I would love to go for like 10 minutes on a Scream and Swing. Yeah, I think that would be spectacular, and I would certainly pay some money for that. But we're where we are.
Yeah, we're where we are. Yeah, it's okay. I think it makes up for it. They're all the great rides we have. They have some good ones over there too, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing to talk about with Busch Gardens, we have a couple things here, is Project Madrid or Project 2020. And we're a little late on this because I haven't done a podcast in a couple weeks here because I had my spring break and I had a lot going on. But we're going to definitely...
We had to ride rides, man.
I had to ride rides also. Yeah, that's definitely... But I also had like a life. I have a life, if you guys didn't know. But Busch Gardens Williamsburg, obviously, is getting a new coaster in 2020. And...
Intamin!
It's an Intamin, Intamin launch, and it's been revealed the actual elements of the ride. This is revealed maybe even a month ago at this point, and it's finally time that we're going to sit down and at least go through a little bit of each element. I know Bob can talk a long time. We're going to try to cut it down some.
I do want to add an asterisk. It's been leaked. It hasn't been an official reveal. It's a leak, but we need to add that disclaimer. But it's a pretty solid leak.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's Busch Gardens Williamsburg fans. They have leaked multiple Busch Gardens. They've leaked the Finnegan's Flyer. They leaked Invader. They've leaked basically a lot of Busch Gardens past. So this is not just some random weird website we found. This is real deal here. And a lot of you, if you're in the amusement industry, definitely know them. So go to bgwfans.com. You can also read this article if you want to look into further detail. Because we're obviously not going to be able to show you the pictures. We're not ever going to be able to tell you every single detail that they talk about in this because that would take forever. But we're going to go into each element that they list here on their website. And so the ride is going to have, it says a regular station. It's going to be similar to the Apollo's Chariot Alpengeist layout, which, it's nothing really different. It's just a station. Maybe it'll be themed. I'm not 100% sure. They don't know either because this is just the blueprints. But, it's just a normal everyday station, nothing crazy. Not double loading, it doesn't look like. So then the ride is going to start off with an S curve, which that looks pretty great. So you're going to get a little bit of excitement coming out right out of the ride. And then we're going to go into our first launch. And I've heard that this is not going to be the intense launch. It's not going to be the big thrill launch. It's just going to pick up some speed and get you to the next part of the ride. Then you're going to go through the zero-G winder, which looks really weird. It's kind of like a zero-G roll. But instead of coming straight out on the path like a standard zero-G roll would, the roll out of the inversion sends riders diving down into the right, kind of like the second half of a corkscrew. So it's a little weird. It's a strange element to start the ride off with, but I'm sure it's going to be awesome. I'm sure it's going to be really strange and awesome. We're finally getting like a unique coaster at Busch Gardens too. I mean, you think. Yeah. Apollo's Chariot is a B&M Hyper. B&M Hypers are everywhere. Alpengeist, B&M Invert, they're everywhere. B&M dive coasters everywhere. We're finally getting a pretty unique coaster. I guess Verbolten, you could say, is pretty
Verbolten
unique.
has...
Yeah, Verbolten is somewhat unique, but this is like brand like elements that we've never even seen, like a zero-G winder. I never even heard that was an element before. We're getting a pretty awesome coaster. I'm really excited.
Yeah, so Intamin kind of went, RMC, you're doing all... Wait, okay, hold on.
Let's do it too.
Watch this.
Let's just copy and paste
beer.
It. Just hold my beer. Copy and paste. Let me copy our homework, but I'm not going to copy it word for word. So then we come out of that first launch in the zero-G winder into the ravine turn. So at first, I actually believe this is going to be something like Cheetah Hunt's treehouse. So how it kind of goes up and does like a helix at high elevation, then comes out down to a drop. When I first saw the actual layout of the ride, I'm like, that's definitely going to be this. But it actually looks like it's going to be like a low to the ground swooping turn. Which is a little strange that you kind of... So right now what we're doing is we're getting launched, going through an inversion and doing like a weird helix thing. So that's kind of a weird way to start off a ride. But it's the way that this ride looks to be starting off. It's a little strange. And then we go after that big outer banking or helix-shaped turn, we're going to go into the outward banked turn left, and then we're going to go into another outer bank turn. So there's going to be a lot of like swooping around in this ride and getting some nice little pops of ejector, it looks like, out of these bank turns. Which I'm excited about. And then we're going to go to the track switch, which is probably the most cool and unique part of this ride. And we're going to launch up and make it up to the top hat, and then we're going to fall back. Straight back. Yeah, we're going to get a rollback on this ride. You're going to get a lot of rollbacks. What if this is like something that, instead of getting a rollback, what if now that this is supposed to roll back, what if you actually make it over? What if you make it?
Then you like want to ride again, man. I didn't get a roll. Like how bad does your luck have to be? How bad does your luck have to be to ride a ride that's designed to give you a rollback and you don't get a rollback? That's what would happen to me.
That's great. So you get the rollback and you go into the vertical spike, which is supposedly was going to be upwards of 315 feet. Busch Gardens did release Busch Gardens fans released a couple weeks ago that they think it might not be a gig anymore. They don't believe it's going to be a gig anymore. They think it's going to be somewhere in the 260, 270 range, I've heard. But no one knows for sure.
It'll be cool to launch out of a volcano.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I mean, Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Wait, wrong part. Although, there is some information that's been talked about that the whole Festa Italia area is, you have the Roman gods and stuff like that. And there has been some talk of the god of fire, which is Vulcan. And there have been some maps that have shown like a scorched spot. There is the potential that Busch Gardens could really be trolling KD on this. Just a little asterisk there.
Vulcan, the blast coaster.
I would love it.
That would be so good. That would be such throwing shade at him. Then Kings Dominion would have to build Drac and Fire. You know, that'd be great if actually theme parks would do this. If they would listen to this podcast and be like, you know what, let's just do it. So then after that vertical spike, you're gonna go through the second launch again. So that's great. You get 3 launches technically on this ride, and then you go up to the top hat, and you get hopefully some good pops of ejector, and then you get the drop. And this is where people are saying that it might be considered a Giga. People are saying that it might go over 300 feet during the drop. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if that's true or not. I'm not 100% sure if that's what's going to happen, you know, but it's cool to speculate. It would be awesome if it does. I would love to have a Giga at our park, and we're actually going to talk about it later. We might be getting another Giga, who knows? But to get back into topic, there is going to be right after that. After that drop, you're going to go through a high speed turn. So right after the drop, you're going to go on this huge speed turn. And then you're going to get this outer bank airtime.
Ground on that, a high speed turn, man. Nobody's ever thought of that.
No one ever has done that. And then we're going to get here's a copy and paste right out of RMC's book, an outward banked airtime hill. So it's Steel Vengeance 2.0. It's literally the same thing, but I mean, I'm excited to see it at a park right near me. I mean, it's great. I'm going to get some good ejector on this outer banked airtime hill. That looks really cool. I'm really glad that they're deciding to do some cool things like that. We're going to get a terrain hugging turn right after that. And then we're going to get an inverted airtime hill. And I've heard that this is basically just a zero-G roll, but that's just Intamin's calling it, you know. I mean, a zero-G stall, but it's just Intamin's way of calling it a zero-G stall. But instead of taking a page out of RMC's book, they're just going to call it an inverted airtime hill because they don't want to be copy and paste. They're just going to be like, well, it's not a zero-G stall, it's an inverted airtime hill. You get it? It's completely different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So basically, the description that the Busch Gardens fans website gives is the banking from the previous turn rolls right into Project 2020's second and final inversion, a long inverted airtime hill. So it's an airtime hill where you're inverted for a long period of time, which is what a zero-G stall is. So, you know, whatever. So, and then another ground hugging turn, and then we do another S curve. And then we get something called the wall stall, which is it's an airtime hill with the track beyond 90 degrees at the element's peak. So it's almost it's kind of like a mini wave turn almost. So you're going to kind of get stalled over, and you're going to be like a greater than 90 degrees. It's really strange, but it looks pretty great. And then we hit the final brakes. So that is Project 2020 coming to Busch Gardens Williamsburg via Busch Gardens Williamsburg fans. So thank you guys for leaking that to us. It looks pretty great. Yeah,
I really don't have a whole lot to add to it. I kind of gave my little asterisk through the description.
Throughout me saying.
But I'm just ecstatic that we're getting another Intamin. I mean, you may have realized my favorite manufacturer is Intamin. I'm so excited to see him come back, and I'm actually really excited to start seeing more Intamins outside of Cedar Fair. Well, I mean, obviously we're not going to be seeing any more Intamins inside of Cedar Fair, but I'm kind of curious to see how the dynamic changes. I think it'll be interesting. Whatever this is going to be, I think is going to be a lot of fun, and that's the big thing. It's gonna have a launch. It really, Busch Gardens is starting to fill the holes that Kings Dominion is starting to leave.
Kings Dominion is ripping out our hearts, and Busch Gardens.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where I am overly critical, and there are times where I'm just like, I'm just stating what I really believe to be fact, and that's the fact right now. Is like you went from the park that had the greatest launch roller coasters to a park that really doesn't have any real good launch roller coasters now. I mean, Flight of Fear is okay, but it's really old, and I mean, not that it's not still good, but it's just not the new strong tech. I guess Volcano wasn't, but Volcano was so far ahead of its time that it was still ahead of its time when it got torn down. I like that Busch Gardens is, they really are filling that hole. We'll talk about this a little bit more too, but I used to feel like Busch Gardens just had the theming and stuff, but they didn't really have the thrills. And right now I think they're on par, and I think that Busch Gardens is really starting to step up their game. I don't know if it's fully intentional that they went, oh well, I guess King's Dominion's leaving, shooting themselves in the foot. Let's take advantage of this, or if it just happens to be they were planning this. But I think there's some really great things coming in all the SeaWorld parks ahead.
My favorite part about what you just said there was that you said you didn't really have anything to add there, and you went on for 2 minutes.
I know. Well, that really wasn't.
I had nothing to add except
Would
for
you like me to add some more?
dialogue about what
I
we
can
just talked
actually add. Do you want me to actually add some more?
about. No, we're good. I have nothing to add except a 2-minute speech about the ride that I
How can I not talk about Intamins though, man?
Oh boy, that was great. I was just laughing that entire time. Okay, so Project 2021 for Busch Gardens. That is another thing. Yeah, you heard that correctly. 2021, they already have plans for something. It might be just another troll, which what we got before, the 315 warrant, the 215 structure height. It was 315 feet. They filed a waiver for that. And now there's a proposed structure height that's going to be 355 feet. So
Above finished grade.
yeah, above finished grade, yes, and 435 from sea level. So technically, it would be a Stratocoaster.
No. It would be unless it also dives into the Rhine River.
It just straight goes in, just goes in the Rhine River.
Yeah.
Anaconda. Then they're building.
Yeah.
They just start building Kings. They'll just start building new versions of Kings of Man's coasters.
Talk about copying your homework.
No, exactly.
Wait, you're what? Hey, King's Dominion, what are you tearing down next? We want to get ready.
Exactly. Well, next we think we're gonna get Anaconda. Okay, let's get it ready, guys.
So, Project 2021 has the likelihood of being the world's tallest giga cell tower. We just don't know. All we know is there's that height. I actually do think. I mean, you look at the SeaWorld parks, look at Busch Gardens Tampa. There is absolutely nothing that says to me that there's no way Busch Gardens would not like. They absolutely could be building coasters back-to-back years. I
know, yeah.
I absolutely could
The
see them.
argument that they can't do that is just preposterous. Because
Yeah.
I mean, we think Busch Gardens Tampa just did that. They got 3 coasters in a row.
Right.
We got Tempesto and Invader. I mean, that's 2 in a row. We can definitely do it.
Yeah.
SeaWorld can maintain it.
But I think there's also the possibility this could be a flat ride too, which Busch Gardens Williamsburg could use some more flat rides. Finnegan's Flyer is a great addition. But we could see, like, God, I hope it's not a wind seeker that just sits there and is down all the time because of wind. But a Star Flyer would be phenomenal.
It's really windy down there, so.
Yeah, Star Flyers tend to be able to operate,
in wind.
unlike the wind seeker at King's Dominion, which I've probably only seen running a half dozen times in my life. But I mean, there's all kinds of potential.
I would
This could
actually
be-
not mind an observation tower. I seriously would not mind that at this park. It's a beautiful view around Williamsburg, and if we get a 355-foot observation tower, would I be upset there's not a giga? Yeah, but I would definitely take that. I would not be disappointed with that.
That is also a possibility. I mean, at this point, we don't know. We have no idea what this is, but it is certainly intriguing that they've already filed a height waiver.
Yeah, the thing is, now with now both of our tallest attractions, if this is a tower ride, when we get this, both of our tallest attractions would be tower rides. Not one is a roller coaster, but Mock Tower is our tallest currently, and then now this observation tower would come, and that would be the tallest.
That's the other thing that's been tossed around is potentially it's a replacement for Mock Tire, which I know there's all kinds of comments about that.
Nah, I don't see
Mock
that.
Tire isn't that old.
It's really
but
not.
If you ride it, it feels like it is because it's just so rickety.
It's really not.
I don't know.
It's really not that bad. I love it. It's a pretty good drop tower.
It's not horrible, but I mean, the first time that I rode it, not knowing its history, I honestly thought it was more than 20 years old. I really seriously believed that until I knew the facts. But I don't know. I don't think. I think that would kind of be a dumb thing, but it has been tossed around that maybe they're building a better drop tower.
If they built something like
possibly.
Falcon's Fury, I wouldn't even care. If they built a 355 foot tall Falcon's Fury, that would be great.
I've not rode that, but
you
I
could technically say that's a different type of ride. You know, you say you
absolutely.
have a sit down drop tower and a tall one. That'd
It
be
is.
great. Yeah.
people have tossed around like the Hershey's Triple Tower though, where it's a launch and drop. That I mean, I would not be opposed to that either. I love Hershey's Triple Towers. Even that short little Hershey's Kiss, man. I rode that with my niece, and I couldn't believe it. I was not expecting much, and when it threw me out of my seat.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It is. It is a great drop tower. Hershey's coasters in general, drop tower, all three of them are great.
Yeah.
The Reese's one is fantastic. I rode that. I really wasn't expecting much. The SNS drop towers are pretty great, though. I love this one that it shoots you. It has the actual drop tower motion, then it also shoots you up and shoots you down a couple times too. So you get some good air time, and then you get the big drop too.
It's like it's like an overgrown version of the Fun Spot or the Funland kitty drop tower.
It's basically I loved it. It was great.
Now I want one.
Yeah, I do too. Let's get it, Busch Gardens. Or at least get us the Falcon Sphere. I'd be good with that too. So King's Dominion, Volcano is coming down. We already talked about that a little bit in remnants of Busch Gardens, but it is true. It is pretty much like the back side of Volcano is pretty much all destroyed. They're taking the coaster apart. Some people are a little curious as to why they're being so precise. They're not just tearing it down like they did with the Dragon Challenge at Universal Orlando. They're cutting it in pretty precise pieces. It's not like just scrapping it down. It looks like they're doing something, but I don't know why they're doing that. But
they are definitely cutting the track, so it's not a relocation.
Yeah.
I was hoping. I knew I wasn't banking on it, but I was really hoping. All that hope is shattered.
No.
All of my hope is shattered, and
I know it hurts.
2019 is a horrible year. I'm excited about Steel Curtain. I'm excited about Max Force, Copperhead Strike. I just can't get over the loss of Volcano. This is the defining move that has been made in 2019, and I really think it's going to go down in history as one of the dumbest moves that has happened in amusement park history. I mean, I'm sure if you look, there's probably something you could throw at me, and I'd say yes, that was dumber. But I mean, this is your most popular attraction. This is your defining attraction. Everybody knew about Volcano. People that drove to King's Dominion from far away were driving to King's Dominion for Volcano. Everything else that King's Dominion has, there is a somewhat similar experience closer to most people. Volcano was people came from other countries to ride Volcano. This just doesn't sit right. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it sucks. So Bob, actually, you brought up this point earlier, and we added to the rundown real quick. We're wondering if the rapid destruction of this ride has anything to do with Monster Jam, which is the new attraction or new kind of special event that they're having at King's Dominion this coming summer/fall.
Yeah, so this is those that thought, oh, well, what Cedar Fair said in their announcement was, not to be taken so literally, and, this is exactly what they've said they were going to do. They're bringing in Monster Jam for a month-long, maybe a little over a month-long event where you get to ride monster trucks and you get to see this. And you can wait in line if you want, but they strongly suggest that you purchase a VIP ticket so that you don't have to wait in line. This is Cedar Fair. I think this is the new Cedar Fair. And there's been some talk about this. The rendering of it looks like it's in front of Dominator, and King's Dominion actually did say on a Twitter comment that it is in front of Dominator. In front of Dominator is literally a parking lot. I don't know, unless they're saying our attendance is going to be down this year. We could take up all the parking lot we want. I don't know. I've had this feeling that the area for Volcano was going to come down and it was going to be replaced with some type of this kind of attraction. Now, this is not a permanent attraction, but if this is the new Cedar Fair, they need somewhere convenient to host these events, and Volcano leaves a big wide open field to do stuff in. And there's part of me that wonders if, now they said this is happening in Dominator, but there are these points where you're going to be riding in the truck. Well, they need somewhere to, actually ride in the truck. I hope to God you're not just riding in a parking lot, because that's not, like, there's no fun in driving an off-road vehicle on pavement. So I'm hoping that they're going to build, like, dirt mounds and stuff like that. And I mean, look at Google Maps, look at the satellite. It's not that far from the Volcano area, and that probably would be the closest area they could do something like that. So maybe this is just going to be a general multi-purpose field to be used for these special events. I don't know.
I hope to God it's not.
I hope it's not.
I hope to God.
But I mean, every time I start trying to convince myself, oh no, where they're going to do something to make up for Volcano, they make some announcement that just makes me go, oh no, they're not. And I don't know. And this is the other thing. Like, I understand what they're doing. They want to try to, like, oh my God, we got to go to King's Dominion on these dates, and we got to make it here for this and this and this and this.
To ride a freaking monster.
But the problem is, a lot of the season pass holders who they're targeting, like me personally, if there's a special event going down at the park, that's usually when I don't go, because I don't want to deal with other stuff. I want to go ride rides. That's why I'm going.
That's why
to
I'm
an
a King's
amusement
Dominion
park.
pass holder. Exactly.
And like, if you're going to have a special event, like, okay, you want me to go to your park, you're essentially telling me personally, oh, this month we have slated off to have this big event, so I'm going to actually avoid the park during that time. And that's not true for everybody. I will completely say that there are people out there that will definitely go to this park, but they'll go to this park for this event. But does that balance out the people that say, oh no, I don't want to get into that mess. I'll wait till it's over, and then I'll go when there's no crowds. I don't know. I just don't. Yeah. This isn't the Cedar Fair we remember. This is the new Cedar Fair, and it's so sad. And like, I sound so passionate, but it's more that I'm just like, you get upset with that you're passionate about. And I loved who Cedar Fair was, and I just miss it.
Well, I do have a little bit to cheer you up then. Okay.
All right.
Just a little bit to cheer you up.
There's good news.
I'm reading on the website now that there's going to be a thrilling freestyle-inspired course built by the Real Monster Jam Truck team. So it's not going to be pavement.
All right, that's good. But unfortunately, that also tells me, well, then that could actually be in the Volcano area. Yeah. I mean, let's face it. King's Dominion is not going to say on Twitter right now, oh yeah, we tore down Volcano so that you could ride a monster truck. Because that would be
They're never going to say that.
That would be PR suicide. I mean, they barely have even admitted there is a huge structure being torn down, and King's Dominion is saying, "Oh no, this Volcano, we know not what you speak of." They have just denied that Volcano even existed. It's painful.
Well, they did that with Mean Streak at Cedar Point, but it was a different way. It was more like, because we knew something was big. The RMC was coming. With this, it's like a real, like.
But see, it's also different.
You'd ask Tony Clark, you're like, "What about Mean Streak?" He'd be like, "I don't know what Mean Streak. What's Mean Streak?" And it was kind of like a joke almost.
That was a joke, yeah.
This is like real.
But on the other hand,
in real life though, you go up to them and say, "What's going on with Volcano?" They're like, "Volcano?
What are you talking about? We don't know Volcano." What? But the other thing is that Mean Streak didn't have ridership. Volcano did.
Yes.
That's what's so weird about this. It's just not. This doesn't make sense. It's I don't know. And I think it adds to it the fact that they don't want to own up to this. They don't want to like the fact that they're sweeping this under the rug and they're not saying much. Like, that just hurts even more. It's like we didn't get our closure of our last rides, which wouldn't have made it perfect, but it might have made it a little bit better. They're not telling us what actually happened. They're not really telling us much of anything. They're just denying that it ever existed.
We're never really going to figure that out, probably.
No, we're not. And that's what hurts the most.
Yeah, not having any closure.
Yeah, not like, I mean, give us a good reason. And that's what scares me. I think the thing is, there isn't really a good reason. I mean, I know it was broke. I don't have a doubt that it was broke. I doubt that it was broke as much as it was thought to be broke. And I think there are other decisions that went into this that really aren't justifiable. And I think that's why they're so silent about this, because they don't want to own up to this. They know this was a painful and, not really a smart decision. They just don't want, they want to try to ignore this as much as they can.
Well, Cedar Fair is as we've talked about, a pretty bad financial spot in terms of they didn't get much attendance last year. Well, they didn't get much attendance improvement. But here we go. California's Great America. Cedar Fair has announced it is entering an agreement to acquire the land upon which its California's Great America Amusement Park is located on for approximately $150 million. I think they could have fixed Volcano for a little bit less than that, don't you? The company has leased the land from the city of Santa Clara since the origin of the park in 1976. And the president CEO, Richard Zimmerman, said that this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to solidify our control of 112 acres in the heart of Santa Clara. The transaction underscores our long-term commitment to enhancing and expanding California's Great America, ensuring a high-quality, family-friendly entertainment destination for those who live and work in the area. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like you could have... No money. They're talking about, people are trying to defend Cedar Fair and like, well, they just don't have the funds to do so. $150 million to buy a park?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This really, I mean, it's sad to say this, but this is the smartest decision they've made in the last year.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it makes sense to own. You look at what went on with Kentucky Kingdom and Kentucky Flyer, and that just shows you why you want to own the land that your park is on.
Park is situated on.
But like, I think the thing is, like, financially, I don't think Cedar Fair is in trouble. It's not an issue of they're financially struggling. It's an issue of the new leadership doesn't really care about the guest experience. They care more about what the shareholders think. And like I've seen this happen at so many different companies. It's like you get so wrapped up in the shareholders, and that's fine for a while. It works really, really well for maybe 5, maybe even 10 years. But what happens is you do the damage to the guests, and the guests go, I just don't want to be there anymore. It's not fun. And then once that image is solidified, it takes forever to turn the minds of those guests into, oh wait, you turned yourself around? Once that damage is done, it's done. And I think that's, when you get to a point where you're so wrapped up in what the shareholders think, you start losing what brings the guests there in the first place. And I think that's where they're at. It's not that they're struggling financially. I don't think that there was any issue. Like, Cedar Fair absolutely could have fixed Volcano. And in 2019, it was slated for new controls. They could have absolutely got those new controls. Whether they wanted to work with Intamin on it or pay the price that Intamin wanted, that is a completely different story. And I think that comes more into play than any kind of financial status. And I think that their hatred for Intamin is so great that they're willing to sacrifice guest enjoyment just to get out from under an Intamin ride. And we know, like, even at Cedar Point, they formed A1 Tech in Dayton, Ohio. Well, Cedar Fair didn't, but another company formed a spin-off company that is now going to manufacture parts for all of the Intamin rides at Cedar Point.
We should just rename the attraction news segment to Volcano. Like every segment has been an excuse to talk
coming back to it. Well, like I said, it defines 2019.
It does, but we just everything we've talked about has been an excuse to talk about Volcano.
I miss it. I'm sad.
But California's Great America, in the statement, CEO Richard Zimmerman said that he wanted to, expand and enhance the experience of California's Great America. So that's where a lot of people are drawing the line and saying that something big could be coming to California's Great America. They're buying the park, and soon they can maybe expand, get another ride, maybe get a new B&M Hypercoaster. That's been the hope for for a while. I've heard that rumor flying around that California's Great America was going to get a Hypercoaster. A lot of people are thinking that now that could be the path that is going to be taken with them.
So you're going to hate me because I have to bring up Volcano again, but this fits. So the rumor, there were people that really believed that, like, I think it was middle of last season, California's Great America, like things were really going with this new coaster. It really seemed like it was coming then, and all of a sudden it just disappeared. And it was theorized that this was right shortly after Volcano broke down, and there was a theory that what actually had happened was they actually killed that project to reallocate the funds to King's Dominion because they knew they were going to have to build a replacement for Volcano.
I disagree with that.
I'm not saying whether that's true or not. I think personally, I think what's going to happen is I think King's Dominion is going to look at their numbers for this year and actually find out how much Volcano actually affected them. Whether guests are happy doesn't matter as long as they're still coming and paying the money. So if the funds are still up, I think Cedar Fair is going to say, hey, we don't even really need to replace it. And I think King's Dominion is destined to be the new Dorney Park because Dorney Park is in a position to compete with other regional parks. It's in a very good location to amp that park up. King's Dominion is kind of in Carowind's shadow now. And I just feel like King's Dominion is going to become the new Dorney Park. And Dorney Park maybe become the new King's Dominion. But there's still that overriding thing that they want to space out investments and they want to do more of the family try. They want to do more of this Monster Jam stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's Cedar Fair is definitely going in a strange direction here. It's gonna be hard to predict their future, but it's one that we're gonna have to buckle up for the ride for.
Yeah.
So that's about it for attraction news. It's time to go on to the next segment, talk about some of the new coasters for 2019. Hopefully not bring up Volcano again about there. And then,
well, it's definitely not a new coaster.
Well, it's not a new coaster, but it is 2019. So we're going to also talk about some of the parks that we took. And Bob, you were with us. So we'll get to talk more into detail about those trips in the segment we like to call Coaster Craze. It took us 55 minutes to talk about 4 parks. God, we're not even like halfway through the show yet.
Well, the rest of these probably won't. Well, I don't know.
You never know with us. With you.
Yeah, I know. I'm talkative.
All of a sudden, I'll be like, Copperhead Strike, and be like, Volcano, yes! By the way, that ride's getting closed, and I'm depressed about it, if you didn't know.
Well, yeah, it's an Intamin.
Oh. Let's get together.
I didn't go that. I mean, yes, Volcano came up, but
Oh my God, you would. I can guarantee. I'm gonna pull up how long you talked about. Let's see.
yeah, I mean, there are times where I am overly critical, and there are times where I'm just like, I'm just. We didn't even talk about the memorial. To be fact, and that
Talked about it before on the show already.
you did.
Oh, we can talk about that actually when we talk about the trips we did.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So Volcano is coming up again.
I guess. We can't do this whole like, oh my God, Cedar Fair sucks balls thing though.
I know. It kind of fit though. Like, I mean,
Oh my God, no, it didn't.
in light of what we were talking about, though, did it not fit?
Not really. I made a joke and then you were like, yes. I was like, yeah, this is Cedar Fair. They have money to build Volcano, and you're like, well, actually.
Well, but I didn't know you were joking about that. Because I have actually heard people say, "Oh, well, Cedar Fair is in financial trouble," and I don't think that's the case at all.
I say they're in financial trouble, but I mean more like in the future they're going to be in financial trouble.
Oh yeah.
When I say financial trouble, I mean that.
Okay. Well, you didn't say that.
Well, I don't have to explain myself to you. Let me get out a drink real quick. Had my mini fridge here.
Yeah, me too. I need some Pedialyte after volcano discussion.
God. Why are you a fireman?
Huh?
Why is your little icon here on Skype a fireman?
Oh, because I was a firefighter.
Were you volunteer or were you like...
Volunteer. I actually lived at the firehouse for like 2 years.
Cool.
I loved it. That was fun. But then drama hit, and I was like, no, I'm getting the hell out of there.
Turn your camera on.
Oh,
I'm just now thinking about that like 4 hours after we started talking.
where's the button? Hey, there I am.
There we go. That's more like it. Okay. Okay, get it. Okie dokie. You ready?
Yep.
So volcano. I'm just kidding.
Hey, just think, in about a year or two, you're going to have me gushing about Busch Gardens. You'll be happier then, right?
Yeah, those will be the good days. Those are the good days now, even they haven't even happened. Okay. So as we said earlier, me and Bob both went on a considerably good amount of trips for the month of March. The theme park season had just started, and I went to Busch Gardens twice, and went to King's Dominion twice, and so I've already gotten some considerably good amount of rides on some of the coasters there, and I can just tell you, I am so glad to be an enthusiast. It's just amazing. The off season really just gives you clarity that being an enthusiast is worth it, because you build up this anticipation and this hunger for roller coasters. And even though I'd only gone like a month or two without riding roller coasters because I'd gone to Funland before, so I had ridden a coaster, just a couple of months ago. I can tell you that 2 months of not riding, I got back on a coaster and I'm like, wow, it's amazing.
It made Apollo's Chariot that much better.
It made Apollo's Chariot that much better. Even though I love Apollo's, that's my favorite, one of my favorites. Yeah, it was just amazing. It solidified the enthusiasm for me. So we're going to go in a little bit detail into our park trips. And so Bob doesn't know much about the Give Kids the World event since he wasn't really there for the Give Kids the World event. But at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, season pass holder preview day was the weekend before that, and we kind of did that kind of stuff. It was just a regular day. Did a couple of rides, saw a couple of stuff, and we got announced to us, something big is coming in 2020. Not really much was said at the event. They just gave us a hat that said 2020 on it and said something big is coming. That's kind of it. So season pass holder preview day was kind of quick, but Give Kids the World was actually opening weekend. Bob, you came later in the day.
Yeah, well, no, I was there. I was just sitting out on I-64 waiting to try to get off the exit to get into the park.
Well, no, we were there like 8 in the morning.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't there that early. But while you were listening to the park president talk, I was sitting on I-64 trying to get off the exit so I could go into the park.
But for Give Kids World, that was opening weekend. That was the weekend after season pass holder preview day. And we basically got 4 hours, or it was like 2.5, 3. 2.5, 3 hours of ERT on the coasters at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, Alpengeist, Griffin, Invader, Loch Ness Monster, all the coasters there, except Apollo's and Tempesta. For some reason, Festa Italia wasn't, but that was all the other coasters we got ERT on. Got first ride of the day on Invader, and on Verbolten, and it was a pretty great day. And then we got a behind the scenes tour later of Verbolten, Griffin, and Loch Ness Monster. I was all great. Got to go in the show building of Verbolten. Got to go into the maintenance room of Griffin and Loch Ness Monster. And it was an overall great day. I do think we need to tell them the story, Bob. We won't give anyone's name out, but we actually got, later that night, we were waiting in line for Verbolten, and Bob goes over to the ride is shut down because of the fireworks. What?
Can we start over?
What?
Let's not say the ride operator.
I said we're not going to.
You just said ride operator.
Who else is going to take us on the ride, though?
Well,
you can talk. He said just don't post pictures of it.
Okay.
No one from Busch Gardens is going to listen to this.
All right.
Now I have
Just
to
shorten
freaking
this
restart
one.
this whole thing. Oh my god.
Sorry.
Got to go into the maintenance room of Griffin and like,
Oh,
Bob. Bob.
I just don't want to get anybody in,
Nobody's gonna get in trouble. No one's gonna listen to this. No one's gonna listen to this. The ride is shut down. And if they do, who they're gonna fire the entire team because of the fireworks. What? God, I have to figure out where we stopped.
I'm sorry.
But, we actually.
You can yell at me.
Later that night.
You
We're
will.
waiting in line
I know.
for Bolton, and Bob goes over to the ride is shut down because of the fireworks. What? So because of the fireworks. So I guess I can just go and Bob goes over to one of the ride operators and asks for a lights on ride over Bolton, which it was a little bit of a it was a shot in the dark, but you never know. You never know what they can do. I didn't actually know why you went over there, Bob. I actually just thought you were going over to like ask him when the ride was going to reopen or something. But he comes back and says, "We're getting a lights on tour for Bolton after the ride closes." And I'm like, "Yeah, shut up, stop pulling my leg."
James completely did not believe me.
I completely thought you were like pulling my because you say sarcastic and things all the time.
I'm sarcastic. What? Oh.
There we go. Okay. You say stuff like that all the time, and I'm like, okay, Bob. And everyone else was like, yeah, okay, Bob. And then he was like, no, we're actually getting it. And then everyone else seemed to slowly kind of be like, oh, wait, Bob might be actually telling the truth there. And I'm still holding my ground. I'm like, hell no, Bob's lying. Shut up. Stop it. Stop pulling my leg. Stop trying to get under my skin and get me all excited for nothing. And then the guy walks over and it's like, is it just the five of you or whatever? And I'm like, what? And then we get off and we actually, it was crazy. I don't even know what happened. We had already gotten a tour of the building earlier that day, but that was in the dark. And we walk in and the lights are on. We got a lights on walk around over Bolton, just in a little area where you're allowed to go.
We just mainly walked into the door.
It was just behind it's basically what you do with the behind the scenes tour, except the lights are on, which is something that like never happens other than if the ride's closed, and that it's like really rare to do that. I guess we caught a nice ride operator. That's awesome. They did that. Really glad that we got the chance to do that. It was an awesome experience, and I guess Bob's always gonna have that for me. He's always going to be like, remember that time that you didn't believe me?
Yeah, you didn't believe me. I think the really interesting thing about that story is like that. I mean, it was completely totally a shot in the dark. But like I really wanted to ride the ride with the lights on. But the thing that's interesting to me is when I was talking to him, he explained that they absolutely, unless you are an employee, you do not get a ride on that ride with the lights on. It's and like it's kind of like to maintain that magic.
Like Disney, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I used to work at Disney, so that's kind of what I compared it to. It's like that Disney magic, you just don't see that stuff unless you're an employee, and I think that does actually make it more of a magical thing. We literally just took stepped inside the building with the lights on. Since the ride was shut down, he was able to turn the lights on. But it's kind of amazing, how things feel when you ride it compared to what it actually does look like on the the one helix turn that we saw. You just have it's weird that you have no concept of where you are in a building, and
I would really like to see the drop track. That would have been awesome if we could have gone over there. But that's definitely off limits for us. But that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Eventually, when I work there, I would like to. If I ever work there, I would like to do that.
I want to work there just to do that.
I'm only gonna apply. I'm gonna say to work inside Verbolton's maintenance building.
Just take me in there. Okay, here's my 2 weeks notice.
You're in the Verbolton maintenance shed. Okay, so I'm gonna be leaving this in a while. I'm gonna be leaving the park. I just wanted to see this. And I also want to go on top of Griffin. You can just pay for that, but I want to do that.
Yeah, I definitely this year I'm definitely going to do that coaster tour. If you don't know about
we
it,
will
Busch
do that coaster
Gardens.
tour.
What's that?
We will do that coaster tour. We'll plan that. We gotta
Yeah, let's do it. Well, we might even let Pam go too.
maybe, maybe.
Um,
It depends.
but yeah, if you don't know about it, you can actually go on a behind the scenes tour, coaster tour. It's an upcharge tour, but there's information on Busch Gardens website. But definitely seems like a really cool thing. Cedar Point does it too, but
Yeah.
it seems like for everything I've heard, Busch Gardens just does it so much better.
Busch Gardens gives some of the best tours ever. Yeah, I got a tour, that like I said, with Busch Gardens pass holder, opening weekend with the Give Kids the World event, and they're so informative. I go to King's Dominion, do tours, Six Flags, and do tours, and it's just kind of walk around, you take pictures of the ride. It's cool, it's great. But with Busch Gardens, it's so much more informative. You get more information. They plan their tours to give you facts about the rides. They fill you with knowledge. When I do Twisted Timbers tours, I did a Nitro tour. It's just, hey, you want to go walk around and look at the ride and get some good pictures? That's great. You can do that at Kings. You can do that at Busch Gardens too. I got some good pictures, but I also got information, and I love that part. That's what being enthusiast about is learning more about the coasters. And I definitely think if you're going to Busch Gardens and Kings Dominion, and you're considering doing a behind the scenes tour at Kings Dominion or behind the scenes tour at Busch Gardens, I would definitely advise Busch Gardens 10 million times more. Busch Gardens is the greatest.
From everything that I know, I haven't actually gone on any tours at Kings Island, but from everything I've heard, Busch Gardens phenomenally does the best tours, and I love that. Like I'm an enthusiast. I want to know how things work.
Exactly. I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want to know about it.
There is something to be said about like the Freedom tours too. Like like one time we went to an Ace event at Kennywood, and the rides were shut down. It was during their winter event, but they took us to the service gate for Phantom's Revenge. They opened it up and they said, "Do not fall over the mountain. Do not drop your camera, your phone. We're not going to get it. Have fun and be careful." And they let us just roam around. Like that was a pretty awesome experience. So there's that flip side, but.
They do that with Twisted Timbers as well, but I feel like the coasters at Busch Gardens are 10 million times harder to get photographs of than that. If at Kings Dominion, at Kennywood, they're more, not really Kennywood, I guess, but in a sense they're smaller.
That other side of Phantom's Revenge and Thunderbolt, you don't see that very often.
More flat areas to kind of walk around in. Busch Gardens, to get a picture of Griffin, you have to walk it's down hills, up valleys. It's a very hilly park. Verbolten's down a big hill, Loch Ness Monster, so you can't really get a Freedom tour and just walk around and get pictures of those. So I do love the informative parts of the tours, and I do love, you got some good photos of Finnegan's Fly over by Loch Ness Monster. But it was just, it's a different type of tour, I agree. But I think if I was given a choice, I would 10 million times rather take the informative, learn about the rides, see the ride parts, hold the ride's wheels. I got to hold the big wheel for Griffin, the guide wheel for Griffin. It's such a unique experience to Busch Gardens. So when people talk about comparing Busch Gardens and King's Dominion, I really see no parallels in that sense, at least. But King's Dominion had their opening day as well, and we went to that. And then we went the next day as well. I went the next day, but me and Bob hung out the day before that at opening day of King's Dominion, and that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of good fun, good old fashioned.
Yeah, and I'll let you bring up the next thing so that I'm not blamed for bringing it up again.
Okay, well, I'll bring that up in a second. However, I do want to talk about King's Dominion's opening day because you were a little disappointed with it, weren't you? It was fun. It was good. Like I said, good old fashioned family fun in a sense that like we were all a big coaster family. But man, do they not know how to open a park?
Yeah, I should say it wasn't really unexpected because I've been there before, and it amazes me though that they just were not ready at all.
Yeah, one train ops, like
rides breaking down constantly,
left and right. Look, we literally, me and Bob and a couple of our friends, went to Drop Tower, closed right when we got there. Went to Rebel Yell, closed right when we got there. It was like you couldn't get on. It's like, and then Twisted Timbers closed when we got there.
But the one thing that was actually cool is that Rebel 75, we'll call it, it got new control system, and it's kind of cool that the trains are actually synchronized going up the lift hills, and they kind of do this like back and forth shuffle as they climb.
But for some reason, they were running two blue trains, so it wasn't like racing blue and red. It was blue and blue. That was kind of weird for me.
Yeah, they've done that before. I've seen though.
Yeah, they
Yeah?
have, but it just
Oh.
I hate it. I really do. It's like weird.
Yeah.
It's just it just looks strange.
It'd be cool if they would like turn one backwards. I wonder if they could do that.
Good old poking fun at King's Dominion. But now we're getting to the part that I'm dreading, and that's 2019 coasters. I know Bob's going to find a way to bring up Volcano in this segment at least
Well,
once.
wait, you didn't talk about King's Dominion. What we did.
Oh, true. I
That's
guess,
what I'm saying.
God.
You're going to bring this up, not me.
We did a Volcano tribute.
Yeah.
We did. I brought a flowers, and our good friend Timmy brought a card, and man, he was thinking, me and him, everybody was thinking, maybe 10 or 15 signatures from me, Bob, and a couple of, Pam, Alex, all our friends, maybe a couple signatures, and then maybe some enthusiasts that saw it. That thing was full of maybe hundreds of not thousands, but 200,000, 200s, 200 signatures. That was jam packed.
It was.
It was
there
crazy.
wasn't room on it.
No,
And
it was not.
I don't know if you heard this part. When they went to pick up the card, the security guard asked them to sign it.
Yeah, I did hear that. That was awesome. So even
that's the thing.
the staff
Yeah,
understands
the
the importance.
staff miss it. But we actually did the same thing the weekend before as well. We brought flowers. A bunch of people brought flowers, and
Clint Novak got credit.
yeah. Somehow Clint Novak found us at the end of the day, and he's like, "Who started this?" And I said it came up on Reddit. A friend of mine from another group actually thought of it the same way that I did. We literally were talking, and we both kind of said it to each other. So we both genuinely, organically thought of the idea. And Clint's like, "Well, that's nice to know, because everybody's saying that the guy with the propeller beanie was the guy that started it." And I'm like, I knew nothing about it. So, yeah, I don't know. Clint Novak somehow got a lot of our credit. But whatever. It doesn't matter. The thing was, though, that it's multiplied. There were, I've even seen pictures posted later, other days that people have been there.
Yeah, somebody the day after I went again, me and my friend Alex went again to go to King's Dominion, and the frickin' another card was there. So people are copying. They can't even think of their own ideas. They have to bring another card.
Well, I think it. Yeah,
It
the
was
card
copy and
is
paste,
interesting.
another copy
The
and
flowers
paste.
thing, though, there's flowers showing up a lot.
Yeah, flowers are fine, but you bring a card. Come on, the next day. I think they were like, hey, that's getting a lot of signatures. Let's do it for us too.
At this point, I'm fine with anybody that wants to bring a card.
Mm-hmm.
I still
Yeah.
think that we need to send a copy to Intamin and to Cedar Fair, and just
Just let it be.
let
it be,
Intamin
Bob.
realize that
Let it be, Bob.
What?
Let it be.
Let it be.
There will be an answer. Let it be. You gotta let it be. I don't think
Volcano's really gone, isn't it?
it really is.
It's really gone.
The ride you loved and cherished so much.
I know. You didn't like.
Tell them in silence.
I'm gonna start saying I hate every ride. Maybe then they won't get torn down.
And Tours of Timbers is next.
Probably. Well, anything that breaks down.
Well, maybe Mystic Timbers. That's
Anytime
that's your
something breaks
favorite.
down-
That's definitely high on their priority list since that's your favorite.
Wait, what is?
Mystic Timbers.
Oh my God. That is it.
That's the
That
next
is that at Cedar Fair Park.
Oh my god. That's the next one.
Oh my God. I'll just give up on coasters altogether. I'll like.
Lead
I
the
don't.
community. We're gonna shame you. Oh god. But I guess we can kind of filter into this now. We're going to talk about the 2019 coasters and just kind of review on them. I know Copperhead Strike has opened up, so I guess we'll start on that one. And actually, our good friend Pam had just went down and wrote it and said it was pretty great. So, I don't know. Bob, you can have your sense on this, but when people first down and went and wrote it, I feel like it's getting the first ride hype. You know, everyone rides it the first time, and oh my God, it's amazing. It's amazing ejector. It's insane hang time. It's amazing night ride. It's fantastic. Blah, 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 blah. Mini Maverick, blah, 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 blah. Gets all this, like, hype
Yeah.
that it might not deserve. It deserves, I think it's no question it's a good coaster. I'll be riding it in 2 weeks, so regardless, I'll be finding out. I'm sure I'm going to get off that ride and go, wow, that was great. That was fun. But I feel like people are definitely riding it a little too hard, if you know what I mean, in terms of how they're reviewing it and saying it's this great, great, great ride. And it looks great. It just doesn't look, it looks good. It just doesn't look that great to me.
I don't know. The psychology of the enthusiast is a very interesting thing. Because sometimes I think, like, I know with me with Still Avengers, the first time I rode it, I hate it. I despised it. I was pissed that I spent so much time riding it. The second time I rode it, I actually really enjoyed it. And I think the problem was there was so much hype about it that there was absolutely no way that that ride was going to be able to live up to what I expected. So in that case, I hated it because of that. But the inverse, I think, happens too. So it's highly possible that people are just like, "Oh, the new ride, it's so exciting," and then when you weigh it again later, I don't know. I think it does look like a lot of fun, and I definitely can see where, it might have some Maverick-like qualities, but I can't see a Mach coaster actually doing the same intensity and the same style of maneuvers as what Maverick does.
Well, then you get people saying, well, we're not saying it matches that, it matches that. When you say it's a mini Maverick, you're saying it's a mini Maverick. You are saying it's like Maverick, it's just a little smaller. So saying, well, no, it's not as intense, but then it's not like Maverick, it's a launch coaster that goes upside down does not make it like Maverick. So saying it's a mini Maverick just because it's a little similar in terms of the type of coaster it is plain and simple dumb. So don't compare it to Maverick. It's definitely going to be way overrated if you ride it then. But it does look like a fine ride, and I probably will like it a lot. I probably will slide up in front of Intimidator because Intimidator is kind of trash. Afterburn I think is still going to remain on top. Fury, I don't think it's going to beat Fury. So it looks like a great coaster. It looks like a good fill for Carowinds. But for some reason, it overshadowed what I think is truly going to be the best 2019 coaster, Max Force. And I know we can also talk about Steel Curtain. That's definitely those two are definitely in the top two of the top.
See, for me, I think those two. Well, I mean, you got to look at it too. Both are being built by S&S. Both were designed by Joe Draves. Is that his name?
That is
the guy from Ride Centerline works with Alan Chilkey. I mean, they're both phenomenal, and I never got to ride XLC. I'm very disappointed that I never got to, but I'm excited to see pneumatic launches come back, and I hope that it works out.
Yeah.
Steel Curtain, Steel Curtain looks amazing.
It does.
I mean, as long as that quality is not the old S&S, which I have very good reason to believe it's not. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, it does so many interesting maneuvers, and it's such a new, fresh design. It's unlike anything we've seen before.
Yeah.
And
world's fastest inversion. I mean, that looks crazy.
Yeah, it's also the most inversions in North America.
Yeah. And the banana roll looks great. But talking about Max Force,
the Drachenfire drop, I'm so looking.
That looks great. That looks fantastic. But Max Force, go back to. I guess we can talk about both of them because they're very similar rides in terms of the actual experience, other than the launch. But they're both S&S multi-loopers. Max Force, that world's fastest inversion or world's fastest zero G roll, that looks crazy. I mean, you're going to be hitting that thing at around 75, I believe. That is insane.
Yes,
that's going to be getting you're going to get so much whip going through that. You're going to fly through there. But the one thing enthusiasts are talking about is they're a little disappointed. So in Max Force, the way you end the ride is you just suddenly go back, you flip back into the station, and you're back on the ride. You brake and then you brake. But it looks like to some people that the brake is on the last drop. So you're not going to get that momentum flying down into a station. You're going to be braking during the drop. And it's going to be similar to something like Full Throttle, where you have that huge drop before you go back into the station, and you get braked on the actual drop, so you don't get any airtime. Or something like Intimidator 305, where you get braked on the airtime. Hell, it's something like that where you're going to kind of lose some momentum there, and a lot of people are disappointed in that.
See, here's the thing, though. This is I don't know. I haven't rode Full Throttle, but to me, this is kind of a new experience that nobody's actually experienced before. And this is what's coming to mind. I think about I-305 and that brake at the end. I love that brake. I think that brake is a lot of fun.
I don't.
Well, that's fine. Whatever. But
your opinion doesn't matter.
Fun. And I think that to me, I'm thinking, oh, well, that brake, it's fun to me. But what if you took that brake and you were going straight down? it's almost like Ernest Saves Christmas when he was flying the sleigh and he came straight down and just hit. He just stops dead straight down and says air brakes. I don't know. You've probably never seen that movie,
I don't
have
know.
you?
No, I've not.
Well, any older people listening, they get it. But I don't know. To me, I think it'll be a neat experience. It's just something different. I'm not upset about it at all.
Well, let's talk about 2020 coasters and talk about West Coast Racers coming to Six Flags Magic Mountain.
I thought that was 2022.
2023, I think, actually.
Maybe.
Maybe 2025.
I just saw the track did arrive. The trains arrived to the park
Before the track. I know.
Oh my God.
Six Flags is just a comedy sketch now.
It
It's
really
comedy.
is.
It's comedy. It's comedy, Bob. It's just comedy.
It's hilarious.
It's just I don't even understand what the logic is. I guess it looks like a good ride. We can't really tell.
I mean, yeah.
It's just a pile of dirt at the moment, so that's kind of all we can talk about there. But
That is you want to talk about a new ride losing its momentum. That's the one.
not going to be. It's no longer going to be their 20th coaster. Because
That's true.
It's no longer going to be opening in 2019, probably.
Because Six Flags America is getting a Zach spin.
Okay, that's another story. That's attraction news. That's
that's a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Magic Mountain did close. What's it called out there?
Green Lantern.
Yes, they closed that ride. They announced that it's closing, and the joke is that it's going to be Six Flags America gets all the hand-me-down coasters, so obviously Six Flags America actually is getting a new coaster next year.
The strange thing about this was that right after they announced that the Zack Spin Green Lantern was closing, that it was seen testing again. It's a little strange to close a ride and then start testing it.
Well, yeah, because they want to make sure it's working for Six Flags America before
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Oh God. Okay. Well, West Coast Racers looks pretty good. It's a big pile of dirt. Well, let's talk about Zadra. Let's go across the Atlantic here and talk about Zadra. This is at Wallaby Holland. Energylandia. Excuse me. I don't know why I just said that. That's a different coaster. That's another coaster we'll talk about in a second. Zadra's coming to Wallaby Holland. I'm so tired, Bob. I just said it twice in a row. Oh, God. It's going to Wallaby Holland. No, it's not going to Wallaby Holland. It's going to Wallaby Holland. Oh, my God. And, okay. Talk about Zadra. Let's go across the Atlantic here and talk about Zadra. This is at Wallaby Holland. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Untamed. Here we go. This is going to Energylandia in Poland, and this is a coaster that hopefully in 2020 when I go, I'm planning on riding. So Zadra looks like a kick butt ride. It's 201 feet tall, and it's going 4,265 feet long, 3 inversions, 72 miles per hour, or 71.5 to be exact. And it's going to be an hour, a minute, and 50 seconds long in duration.
An hour long coaster.
An hour long coaster. Oh God, Bob!
They're like, no, I don't care how much you're trying to beat Cedar Fair. You're not going to beat this record.
Oh God. Well, yeah, Zadra looks to be a mix between Lightning Rod and like Wildfire, in my opinion. It looks fantastic. It has the theming and the cool terrain of Wildfire and Lightning Rod, and it has the amazing elements of Lightning Rod and Wildfire. It looks fantastic. I'm really excited to hopefully one day get on it, but I'm excited for Energylandia because in terms of Energylandia, they're really an up-and-coming park. A couple years ago, no one even knew who they were, and then they got Hyperion. Now they're getting Zadra. This is pretty great. I'm really looking forward to going to this park. Hyperion looks like a fantastic coaster. Zadra looks like a fantastic coaster. I'm really looking forward to it. So I think this is a possibility to be one of the best RMCs out there. I know it's kind of cliche to say any RMC coaster that goes 200 feet tall is automatically their best, but this is it just looks fantastic. I'm really excited to ride it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no real opinion, and I really don't.
Okay, well, that's kind
Believe
of
it or not.
shocker. Everyone listening at home was like, "What?"
What? Yeah, I can't go on about this one. I could go on about Still Vengeance and how it let me
Oh
down.
God. Well, let's talk about Untamed. Go into Wallaby Holland and talk about that. Looks like an actually pretty good ride. I've seen some footages on Instagram. I follow the park president over there, or one of the park executives there, and he's posting about it. It looks fantastic. It reminds me of any coaster I can compare it to. It looks a lot like Wicked Cyclone. It looks like a Wicked Cyclone, a little bit longer than Wicked Cyclone. It looks like a fantastic ride. It looks like a kick butt ride. I look forward to riding it when I get out to Europe. Again, I keep saying that, but I'm going to keep saying it when we talk about European rides. But let's also another RMC coaster. RMC kicked the park they kicked the park last year with the U.S. in terms of their coasters coming. They got a bunch of great rides out, and now they're going to Europe and even Asia with Haguke. And man, does that ride look good! Man, I mean, when literally people were posting about the POV, when it was just literally first opened and it was going slow, and people were like, "There we go, there's the pacing of RMC," and complaining again, blah blah blah, complain. But I watched a back row POV of this thing, and it hauled. It looked really great. That double up looks amazing. It just looks like another great ride. And I know people say RMCs get repetitive and stuff, but it's not. I mean, that looks so cool. That looks so awesome. I just. Hopefully one day when I get to Japan, I'll get to ride that because it looks so cool and unique.
Yeah, I think RMCs remain to be they continue to be fun. I think for me the problem for me is when people continue to say, "Oh, RMC continues to break new barriers." They're really not. I'm not saying they're not making good rides, but I mean, the design that they have definitely changed the industry in a big way.
Yeah, Intamin's copying and pasting them, like we said.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There is no denying the fact that RMC has changed the industry. But, I mean, they are now on the same level as any other coaster manufacturer. They're doing the same things in a different configuration. It's not like every coaster they build is, oh my God, this is groundbreaking. It's not. It's what they've been doing.
Steel Vengeance
that doesn't mean it's
Steel
bad.
Vengeance was pretty groundbreaking. Yeah, and,
It was,
and Lightning Rod.
But it broke the ground, and now
Lightning Rod was pretty impressive.
Yeah, but like
Outlaw Run.
But at the point we're at now, after Steel Vengeance has been built, like these new coasters they're not.
Well, then explain to me how Intamin is any more innovative. Well,
I
people
didn't
still
say
call.
before.
I know, but I'm not saying you. But I'm saying people are still calling Intamin an innovative company. Therefore, by your definition, they're not an innovative company because they're
Well, I
building
mean,
the
they
same type of
innovated
rides.
the copying of RMC.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Well, actually, no. You do have to say the Spike is kind of innovative. I mean, that's a new innovation.
I guess. I mean,
But
it's been done before.
You don't always
It's been
have
done
to
before.
innovate to
Premier's
be fun.
done it with Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast. That was a Spike.
Yeah, but that
it's
wasn't
been
the
done
fast
before.
switch Spike.
Whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's. I don't know if I consider that innovative at its finest, but it is
No,
somewhat.
I mean, it's not like I don't think it's earth-shattering, groundbreaking, But that's my point. It doesn't have to be
Exactly. Yeah,
groundbreaking
I understand that.
and
I don't
exciting.
call it RMC really innovative. I think in the past they've been an innovative company. I think every manufacturer's been an innovative company. I mean, B&M even has been innovative, which some people say B&M's like not innovative at all. But if you look at B&M's history, they are no question they've been an innovative company.
No, they are. They're I mean, but again, they're in the same point. They innovated what they did. That they're.
And I think in the
like,
future we're going to see them innovate more. I think we're going to see
Yeah,
them.
and I don't doubt that they can do more.
RMC probably will. I think we're going to see a Giga T-Rex. That would be awesome. That would be the first, single rider Giga. That'd be pretty great. That'd be pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to T-Rexes. I
Yeah,
hope they come soon.
They need to. I don't know what they're doing, but they need to get them up.
Because I really don't like. I think there's a danger if the Raptors get rolled out to a lot of parks because I think that capacity is going to kill them.
Yeah, it really.
I mean, it's a good fit for certain parks, but I have this
I don't think
fear
California's
that.
Great America or Six Flags Fiesta Texas were the greatest parks to put them in.
Well, yeah,
I feel like Dorney Park would be a good place to put it.
I think Dorney is well. That depends. Unless if you have the King's Dominion Dorney swap, like I think might happen, I'm not sure. But at this moment, yes, I think Dorney would be a good place for a Raptor. But my fear is that without the T-Rexes being there, I'm afraid parks are going to buy Raptors, and they're gonna, people are gonna come and they're gonna like, oh, this is an awesome ride, but I'm not gonna, it would be like another coaster that I'm not allowed to mention the name of.
Oh my god. Okay, well, that's about it for the 2019 coasters we talked about. 2019 is really shaped up to be a great year. It really has. It's. I feel like every year we say it's one of the best years, but this is definitely one of the best years for roller coasters. I mean, every year. I mean, you think. I mean, it kind of has to happen. In 2018, I have to say, was kind of an off year for roller coasters. I mean, we got Mystic Timbers and we got Invader, and that was kind of it. The best coaster was Mystic Timbers, which wasn't really saying much.
What?
I know you like it, but in terms of everyone else, no one else thinks it's the best roller coaster in the world.
I love it. I didn't say it's the best in the world. I said it's the best that I've rode.
Exactly, and you've ridden coasters that many other people would consider better. But
it's true.
To talk about that, we finished talking about that. 2019 is definitely shaping up to be a great year. Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic
Except it's sad.
Except for Volcano closing, which I did. I just said it. I just said thou should not be named.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it for Coaster Craze. We went on some great trips. Talked about the 2019 coasters. It's time to go into the break right now. Nailed it.
So what is this?
Oh, crap. What? I was about to start.
I don't really understand what's going on for Break Run here.
That's just, somebody said this. This is his quote. He's a pretty pop. Look him up.
I've heard that name.
Look him up. On YouTube or something. He told me, he was.
Why can't
He watched me live.
Huh?
He was watching me live when I recorded the last week's podcast.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You actually have fans? What?
I actually have people that like to watch me. I know it's hard because why? Why would they want to watch that? What's up?
What's up?
What's up? That's one of the greatest commercials of all time.
It is. It absolutely is. Why do I know this name?
Probably because you've watched him before. Look him up. Do you looking him up?
Yeah, I'm on his YouTube page.
Yeah, he's a famous YouTuber.
Oh, that doesn't mean much to me. I mean, I don't spend a whole lot of time on YouTube.
I know that doesn't have to mean anything to you, but that's probably why you know him.
That may be. I've probably heard other people referencing him as what. 9 years ago, he uploaded a video of Griffin. Still Phantom.
Yeah.
I remember that ride. My ears did not like it.
Okay, well, let's continue on the podcast then.
Yep. Let's do it.
Not really famous. Who's not really famous?
Huh?
Someone's commenting on the live stream, not really famous. That's the wrong channel. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what's... We were talking about another YouTuber, if that's who you're thinking of. Someone...
Oh, I have no idea what's going on.
On the live chat, someone said... It's not really famous.
I browsed away from it.
I know, we're talking about another channel, Theme Park Frenzy. We're talking about someone named Sean Flaherty. He's a famous, semi-famous YouTuber. I think he has 100,000 subscribers or so. Should we continue the podcast?
Wait, what? We're doing a podcast? Huh?
What? I'm still recording my audio. God dang it. So all of that's on our... It's not really famous.
Episode 50 is just gonna be you recording random audio crap. And I recorded this
Meshing it
2
all
weeks
together.
ago.
Meshing
I
it
don't know
all
why,
together.
but here it is.
Yeah, messing it all together.
You're gonna take me out of context, and I'm gonna sound like more of an idiot than I am.
Yeah, which is very hard to do. Okay, let's go. So as you guys know, we are a American-based podcast in Virginia, USA. So we don't talk about European. I mean, we just made an exception. We just talked about some European kosher there, but we don't talk about them nearly as much as I know some European listeners would want. They want to hear about their koshers. They want to hear about their parks. So I thought over the past couple of weeks we did the best British park, and this week we're going to do the best Japanese park, and we actually put this on our poll. And we actually got a couple responses of people saying what they thought was their best. Most notably, we had Sean Flahardy, who is a famous YouTuber, semi-famous in terms of roller coasters. He commented on our channel, which is really awesome. I'm really glad he did that. And he said he loved Fiji Q. It was awesome, but the operations were not ideal. He does love Dudadampa as one of the most insane coasters he has ever ridden. And he went in 2015, and he's going back this year. So he's really excited to go back, and I would kill to go back or even go at all.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing to do. He says that Disney Sea is the most incredible park that he's ever been to, and he's not even a Disney fan. So I'm not a Disney fan either. So I don't know, but maybe my mind will be blown. It's simply awe-inspiring. I got chills walking into the place. So
I love that experience when you walk into a
yeah.
themed area and you just go, "Whoa!" Like
what
you just
the heck?
feel
Yeah,
it.
you just go, "What the heck?"
It's amazing.
It's a
It just draws
life-changing
you in.
experience, and it's like Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens does that exactly to me. I walk in, and I feel like I'm in another area of the world. I don't feel like I'm in Virginia. I feel like I'm in England, or I feel like I'm in, wherever I am, Great Britain, or I just said the same thing, or Italy, or
pretty awesome.
Ireland.
Me, it's especially when you like mix in special effects and like lighting and lasers and like sound and like I'm very much a multimedia. Like if you do stuff like that, like you've got me forever.
Yes, you do.
But I mean, like that's not to downplay just general theming. It's that's also just, I mean, like I don't know, the worlds don't really do quite as much for me. I mean, Busch Gardens definitely, like I love like the different lands. I think that's awesome. But like for me, when I'm going through the queue of Verbolten and like everything is like part of the story and it's like encompassing you and like you're actually walking through, these stations and then like it's just like, I don't know, you feel like you're part of the ride. And any kind of like thing that draws you in like that is just phenomenal. It just adds so much to the experience.
Yeah, it does. I agree. Verbolten's one of the greatest themed rides ever, even inside of it, even considering Disney parks, So we got a couple responses on the podcast Instagram page. Someone wrote in, Disney Sea is one of the most beautiful parks, and it's Disney, so it has ridiculous theming. So we got another Disney Sea, another tally for Disney Sea there. We got a response of someone saying Fuji-Q Highland, which looks like a great park as well. Someone said Nagahashi Spa Land because they have Arashi, Steel Dragon 2000, and Haguke
Steel
now.
Dragon. I want to ride Steel Dragon 2000.
I have no interest really. Looks like a drawn
it's
out
Morgan.
Morgan. It looks like a drawn
It's a
out
Morgan
Morgan
with B&M
Haguke.
trains. I mean,
Oh God. Disney Sea again, my bucket list park, and it looks amazing.
apparently I'm adding Disney Sea.
Yeah, exactly. Another Disney Sea. Another Tokyo Disney Sea vote. Someone else, Tokyo Disney Sea by a long shot. Nope. Now we got another Nagahashi Spa Land because of Haguke. Someone said Disney Sea is the most themed and beautiful park with the best dark ride on Earth. So
all right, that's it, James. We're not going to King's Dominion this weekend.
We're going to Disney Sea.
We're going to Disney Sea.
For thrills, I would say Fuji Q. Everything else, probably Disney Sea. Fuji Q again. Fuji Q Highland is one of the best top threes of all time, with Angelica, Dudadampa, and the start of, they start off with a great lineup.
I've always like,
Stop. Shh. I messed up so bad there.
What did you do?
I messed up. Did you hear what I said?
No, I missed it.
I I just kind of stopped talking. I just kind of stopped.
Oh.
Because the guy's response just kept going and it never stopped. It just stopped with W. Look, guys, I'm going to share this on the live stream. It just stopped with, the guy's response just stopped with a W. It just says W. And I was like, what the hell does that say?
It's not showing up real well. That's all right.
The guy's response stops with, Fujika Highland is one of the best top threes of all time with Injinaika, Dudadampa to start off W. That's it. That's all it says. I'm like, what is
W, man.
What? Oh my
That's
God.
my bucket list coaster right there is W.
Oh God, I don't know. Well, it didn't capture any of that audio, so we have to restart.
Are you serious?
Restart that segment. That's not that hard though, because that was kind of a crap show anyway.
So, like, you're recording shit we don't need, and you don't record the shit we need.
No, I recorded it. It just said we couldn't save it. 2019 is Java shaping up to be.
Oh.
I just said it. I just said thou should that not be named. Oh boy, we're gonna be here for a long time. So the podcast is obviously centered around America. We're in America. We're in Virginia. But I do want to stretch out and talk about some of the European and Asian parks. We don't talk about them as much, and we need to get more out and spread our wings some, get our audience involved more in some other parks, and also the audience that is in Europe and is in Asia and is in other countries in the world. I'd like to, talk about some of the parks that they get to enjoy and get to go to a lot, so they get involved in the show as well. So we got a lot of responses from some people. We actually got a response from a semi-famous coaster YouTuber, Sean Flaggerty. And he said that he loves Fuji-Q Highland. It's awesome, but its operations are not ideal. He's also said that Judadampa is one of the most insane coasters he's ever ridden, and he's planning on going back this year. But he said, in general, though, as a park, Disney Sea is the most incredible place I have ever been to, and I'm not even a Disney fan. He said it's simply awe-inspiring, and that he got chills walking into the place. So when a park can do that to you, it can alter you that much.
Any
incredible.
kind of theming that just draws you in is just like especially when you get that like, oh, I'm here, and like it's almost like the hair in your arm stands up. Just you feel it. It
fills you with joy.
spectacular.
It fills you with joy.
Yeah, you feel like you're part of it. You're there. It's just transformative. It's if you haven't experienced it, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, Verbolten at Busch Gardens is definitely a keen example of that. You walk into that station, you hear all the freak German guys talking, and the woman or whatever. Wiedersehen. It's amazing. I love it.
Get out of the way. Verbolten is traveling.
Yeah. Now enjoy the rest of your day at Busch Gardens. Auf Wiedersehen. I love it. Don't look back as you brave the Black Forest. But until you experience anything like that, you don't understand. But yeah, that's amazing when a park can do that to you. And we actually are going to go to some of our responses we got on Instagram. And someone also replied with Disney Sea. It's one of the prettiest parks, and it's Disney, so it has ridiculous theming. So that looks great. Someone else said Fuji-Q Highland. We also got a response saying Nagahashi Spa Land because it has Arashi, Steel Dragon 2000, and Haguke. Someone said Disney Sea. It's a bucket list park for me, and it looks amazing. Someone else said Tokyo Disney Sea. Another Tokyo Disney Sea, and his response was by a long shot.
All right,
Nagahashi
James,
Spa Land because of Haguke.
We're not going to King's Dominion this weekend. We're going to Disney
We're going
Sea.
to Disney Sea. Yep.
Made up my mind.
Let's get our tickets right now. We're gonna have to stop this podcast.
Let's order them. You're paying, right?
I'm paying. Yeah. Okay. Tokyo Disney Sea again, most beautiful and themed park on Earth. Also with one of the best dark rides on Earth. For thrills, I'd definitely say Fuji-Q, but everything else you gotta give it to Disney Sea. Another response, Fuji-Q. So it seems Fuji-Q and Disney Sea are the two big ones here.
Yeah.
Someone else said Fuji-Q. We got another Fuji-Q. We actually had another podcast. In the Loop podcast wrote in and said Fuji-Q as well. And then another Nagahashi Spa Land or Fuji-Q. So it was pretty debatable. I'll
tell you, Fuji-Q, Dudampa is one of the coasters. Like, I have my bucket list coasters and then my not really realistic bucket list coasters. My not really realistic bucket list coasters, unless I like, win the lottery or something. Fuji Q for Dodonpa. I want to ride Dodonpa.
Yeah, Dodonpa
And
looks amazing.
my other coaster in that I want to ride in Japan is Still Dragon 2000. Because I like Morgan's hypers, and you put a B&M train on it. I don't know. I think that would be spectacular. I want to experience a Morgan Giga. But yeah, like now I really want to go to Fuji Q
I want to go to Disney Sea.
and Disney Sea. Both. I like both.
We got to go to Disney Sea.
I mean, Disney Sea never, like, I would have never even like thought, I want to go to a Disney park. But now, yeah, I kind of want to.
Yeah, I have heard many times it's probably the best Disney park, and that it's just mind-boggling. It's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
that's about it for this week's show. If you've been listening, it's been a long one. It's been a good one. And to close it out, we're going to talk about our weekly poll for next week's show. And this is one that I think I might have done before in the past, because this is kind of a generic one, since I am from the Virginia area. And I will go back to talking about the best parks in certain countries, because I do like that idea of centering around a show around some other parks in other countries. But one that I've been hearing a lot lately, and one that I think has changed drastically over this year, because as we said, Volcano's closing, Busch Gardens getting a brand new coaster.
You said it.
Yeah, not Bob at all. Bob didn't talk at all about this. He's not upset about it at all. It didn't even affect him. But Busch Gardens or King's Dominion, which one is better? I mean, honestly, Busch Gardens for me is a better park. I mean, I'm gonna leave my opinion for next week's show, but I don't know, Bob. What do you think? Now that you
If you
got
would
the
have
full
if you would have
taste.
asked me this question a year or two ago, hands down, King's Dominion.
And I disagree
That
with that
has
still.
drastically changed now. I just feel like, I mean, Busch Gardens always had the theming, but
charm.
I just always felt like King's Dominion had the better thrills. That's not the case, and that's certainly going to change next year with Project 2020. I don't feel like King's Dominion has much, like, I don't know. I like Twisted Timbers. I like I-305, and they've got some good woodies, but I mean, probably, a lot of my summer is probably going to consist of me going to Busch Gardens, but just stopping at King's Dominion, going in and riding I-305 and or Twisted Timbers, and then just continuing my way down I-95 to 64 and stopping at Busch Gardens for the rest of the day. I just don't feel like King's Dominion has much anymore.
Yeah, it's a little sad, but
It's very sad.
yeah, one of our.
In some ways, I kind of want to go to Six Flags America over top of King's Dominion.
I really want to go back. I don't know. I have like a drawing to go back to Six Flags America. The park is not really that bad. It gets a lot of overshade.
No, it's
but
actually a really beautiful and clean park.
it actually
Don't
is.
go there to eat.
Yeah,
Their
it's-
food sucks.
Or don't expect good customer service.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
I've had some pretty bad experiences. But to close
I'm not
off the
saying
show,
it-
let's
I'm
close
not
off
saying
the
it's
show.
great customer service, but I mean, it's better than what I expected.
Yeah, it was
There's
terrible.
definitely room for improvement, but it's not.
It was.
I've
pretty bad.
had worse experiences at other Six Flags
When
parks.
I'm an employee, my mom. Okay, I've told the story on the show before, and this is a really off-topic way, but we're talking about the best parks in the Virginia area, so let's just try to tie this in here. My mom was going to go to get like a drink at a drink stand, and the guy was just kind of sitting there there was a line. It was like one or two people in front of us. So my mom goes up to him and says, "It's been maybe 5 or 6 minutes." My mom says, "Is there a problem with the machine? Should we go somewhere else?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's funny. Some people think the world revolves solely around them." My mom was just keenly asking, "Should we go somewhere else? Are you open? Are you able to give us drink?" Nowhere was she like, "It's your fault." Nowhere was she saying, "You need to open the right." And yeah, I just and that right there, that's the customer service you get. So that's what you should expect going in. But that's about it for Coaster Talk, your source for everything roller coasters. I've been James Barber, and we've had Bob along with us.
Hello, it's good to be here again. Hopefully,
Hello.
I screwed
Hello.
It's my turn
You
for a
always screw up the
blooper.
intro. You always screw up the intro. You're always like, hello. Why do you say hello?
I don't know. I never know what to say.
You're like, hello. Hello. Goodbye.
Uh,
The machine should be just somewhere solely around them. You need to open the right. That's the customer service you get. So that's what you should expect going on. But that's about. I'll just. that's about it for Coaster Talk, your source for everything roller coasters. It's been a pretty great show. It was a lot of fun. We had Bob along with us again.
Thanks for having me again.
Check us out on social media, Twitter at @CoasterTalk_pod, Facebook at Coaster Talk Pod, Instagram at Coaster Talk Pod. You've been listening to Coaster Talk, your source for everything roller coasters. I've been your host, James Barber. We'll see you guys all next week. We finished the podcast.
And it's not even 11 p.m.
Yeah, I know. We started at 6. That's literally almost 6 hours. Oh, my God. Everyone on live stream, we were on the podcast. We were ready to start at 6 o'clock. And we were just now finishing.
And then Domino's showed up and Papa John showed up.
Yep, and we just indulged. And then politics and music and movies and
yeah.
God. Well, I guess we can end the live stream. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us, bearing with us. We still have 5 people watching, so we still got a pretty nice size audience.
Wow, I'm impressed.
11 p.m. guys. What do you guys? You have no better life to watch a bunch of guys crack up about stupid mistakes they're making.
They're enthusiasts.
Yeah,
what are we doing on a Friday night?
Exactly.
We're recording a podcast, so.
I'm just kidding. I'm just picking with you guys. Thank you guys all so much for watching the live stream. It was a lot of fun. We'll be back next week, hopefully. Or I will be. I'll see you guys.